Hey, Shalom, Markins, Rakam, Makafashim, Jim Islam, and giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Shem Chakwadash. Want to give double honors unto the elders, the apostles, the GMS, and Shalom out there to the hopeful elect, preaching truth and all sincerity. Back again with another video, and this one's going to be based off this caption here, as you see, from a Twitter feed, right? So, recently we had the Queen's funeral procession, right? And you had guys, people out there queuing up for hours, yeah, 20 plus hours just to go look at a box, which, is believed to have the Queen in it, right? But they queued up, overnight and all kinds of stuff, man, in this long ass line that stretched for miles, right? Over the death, right? And you know, it's just another psychological operation still, right? Because we had people had to do that during the pandy, right? With the whole CV era, right? Outside the supermarkets and all that kind of stuff, man. It's conditioning you people, man, to get used to queuing, man. And Britain loves a good queue, as they like to say, man. Right? And when all hell breaks loose, when this society crumbles, man, this is what they're gonna do, right? At the behest of the governments who are gonna take control over the food supply, because famines on the horizon, right? A great collapse is gonna take place soon, and these people are gonna be in desperation, man. They ain't gonna be able to go to the supermarket like they used to, and not even at the level it was during the pandy, where you have to queue up for that, and you can only buy a certain amount of each items and that kind of stuff. It's gonna be even worse than that, all right? What was it? There was an article. Um, oh, who was it on? Oh, I can't remember, man. But it was on. I'm sure it's some type of legislation or bill or something. Going into the rationing of food and energy and all that kind of stuff, right? And we've been saying this is where it's gonna go, right? You're gonna get rationed your food, okay? It's gonna get so dire, okay? Pursuing to Daniel 12:1, right? A time like no other, man. A time of trouble, time of evil, like there's never been, right? And so these people are gonna become, or fall into despair, and they're gonna be looking for help, you know, to survive the situation, right? And they're going to be relying on their governments, man, because the governments are going to try and reassure them that we've got everything under control. And, if you just do this and do that, we can supply you with this and that. We can, a week's worth of food and whatever, eggs and bacon. I'm pretty sure that's what they were handing out during, you know, World War II and all of that. On the ration cards, eggs and bacon and shit. Bear, you British love your fucking pork, right? But yeah, bare essential shit, and you're gonna be queuing up for that bare essential shit, right? Because you're not gonna have any other way or solution, of what to do, man. Like, what do you do now? Even this will break down, and this is where a lot of fighting is gonna ensue, and a lot of chaos is gonna ensue, man. Because people, people living like this, man, it's gonna leave people on the edge, because some people ain't gonna be able to eat, can't afford nothing or whatever, or don't want to be down with the regime. They don't want to take the MOTB to get this stuff or whatever. So there's gonna be chaos in the street, man. You know, might not be as orderly as this. They could be fighting in these queues, man, trying to get what's left in the store. Because believe it or not, as much as these governments are gonna say everything's cool, everything's alright, there ain't gonna be enough food for everybody. There just won't be, right? But anyway, and I want to jump into some scriptures now. But it says here they will queue for 20 plus hours to see the Queen, but won't stand that long in the line for their own freedom. Right? They don't know they've been led into the trap. But start here, Deuteronomy 28 verse 48 says, "Therefore thou shalt serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee." Okay, and this is speaking primarily, well, we're always speaking about our people, really, but in this time and age, you can apply this, right? Because everybody's going to be, this time of trouble is going to come up on everybody, right? And these elites, these these Edomites and these governments and that, they're gonna take advantage of the situation, obviously, right? And you're gonna find yourself in this position, right? So therefore thou shalt serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger, right? Because we know, there's a global food crisis, about to take place. That's happening. Present tense, it's happening, right? And it's gonna get worse. So, and then first, okay, the lack of water. You have running water. Okay, they really want you to ration your water, right? And in nakedness, and in want of all things, right? The aim of the goal, the aim of all this, chaos, this breaking down society is so are so dependent on the governments, on your leaders, right? They don't want you to have anything, right? I.e. the WEF, they don't want you to have anything, right? So they want you solely dependent on the government, and the government are going to be given complete control over what you can and can't have, and how are you going to access that, right? So when a nation has, when a person has control over your food, your water, your work, your labor, and that kind of stuff, man, you know you're you're bound, okay, you're in slavery, right? And you have no options, no choices, right, but to go to them, okay, for the want of all things. Okay, you can't. Well, we're gonna get into it, right? I'm gonna get into it in a second, right? It says, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in the want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee, right? And now Esau's actually done this to our people already, man. As you know already, right? We've had that yoke of iron put upon us, okay, during the slave trade and that. And really, even though it's not a physical yoke now that we bear, okay, we're still enslaved and oppressed by the system, right? And it is destroying us, man. And that's why the scriptures say this place is not our rest, right? That the same scripture said this, this place will destroy us. It's the same thing. This place is destroying us as a people, right? But on a global level now, Esau is going to put another type of yoke on the people, right? And this is what's going to, in the form of the MOTB, the mark, right? And the implants, right? That's going to be the new yoke, right? And this is where he's pushing you to, man. Okay, he's going to push you to this point. Okay, these people, these sheep are going to be in line to get that as well, right? So they can get access to food, so they can get access to water, so they can get clothes or whatever the government have got and are handing out or whatever. They're gonna be lining up for that, man. They're gonna take them OTB, man, just so they can, in their mind, survive. You know. It's Revelations 13 and 16, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Right, so that's where that implantable is gonna go, right, and that's what's gonna dictate, you know, what you can and can't get, where you can and can't go. Okay, what's gonna monitor you, right? Monitor your vitals, your health, whatever. Okay, your location, right? That will be your gateway to receiving, these rations or benefits that the government will hand out. All right, verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell. Okay, so without it, you can't buy anything, right? Something that's gonna be put in your hand or your forehead is gonna enable you to buy things, right? If you ain't got it, you can't buy. Okay, so it's a prerequisite of buying things, right? That's what's gonna be, put out there in the earth, man. And we already know it's happening. We already know what this technology can do. What it, and again, it's multiple applications that it can do, right? But we know it can make payments, right? We know this, right? And right there, people out there swiping their hands all over the place, right? So that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. right? So it's going to be a requirement for you to have this, for you to be able to buy anything. So, people out there, once they got their MLTB, they'll be, queuing out. They said they're ready. The caption said they're ready for food banks. Well, yeah, these supermarkets have become like food banks. It's not going to be just, you just walk into the store and you pick up what you want. Now you're going to be queuing up, getting that whatever little, you know, can we handle that, man? You're going to sit in these fucking queues for hours, man, hoping that you're going to get something, man. And and then it don't look good, man, when you're sitting at the fucking back of the queue, because you don't know, you're going to sit in the queue for hours and you don't even know if you're going to get anything at the end of it, man. And some of these men are going to lose their fucking minds. You see it in you see it in the movies, right? These guys be waiting for ages, right? Hours, right? And they get to the top of the queue and ain't nothing left, and they lose the shit, man. Start breaking down, getting violent, whatever, man. And that's why all these supermarkets, they're gonna have soldiers or whatever, military type forces, police, whatever, guarding all these premises and that, man. Making sure everything's orderly, right? And they won't be hesitant to shoot people, you know. Pardon me, right? So Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 19 says, "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation." Okay, that's what's coming, right? And people are going to be, start turning on each other, man. Okay, in this fight for survival, people are going to start turning on each other, man. Start, you know, uh, breaking and entering, breaking into people's houses and stealing their goods, their food, you know, people, whatever, you know, being violent, killing people. That's all going to take place, right? If I jump up, I always have to kind of read up from verse 14, right? It says, "But woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men," right? It says, "And invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power," right? So, there's going to become more riotous behavior against the governments and stuff like that. And to be fighting amongst people, always talking about the race wars and, the civil wars and stuff like that. That's going to be going on in society, man. And people are going to be fighting one another to survive, right? Because everyone's going to, the heart of many shall wax cold, right? It's going to become a very dark and selfish place, all right? Because everybody's going to be thinking about themselves, right? And in their desperation, because of the tyranny of the governments, and they've become more tyrannical, more draconian, right? People are rising up against them, right? Even as we speak, but right now it's more, let's call it civilized for the time being. It's not got out of control just yet, man, and but things will get very violent, right? In this sedition. It says, "A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able," because the lockdowns, or the locking off of roads and stuff like that. So because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread for great tribulation. Right? So in the time of lack of food, man, people are going to be doing stuff like this, man. Okay, until it's too dangerous to line up. It's too dangerous to be there. You know? It's Genesis 47, verse 18, right? This is gonna, a similar situation that happened in Egypt. Okay, when the 7 years of plenty and the 7 years of dearth. Okay, a great famine came upon the land, right? And the people that weren't able to deal with it, man, had to sell everything that they had in order to get bread from Egypt, right? So this portion of it here is from verse 18, says, "When that year was ended, they came unto him the second year and said unto him, We will not hide it from my Lord, how that our money is spent." Okay, the money is all gone, right? And even like the money you do have, at this current moment in time, man, is getting devalued quickly. Like the dollar and the pound right now, man, they're almost like for like. Right? It's never been this low. I don't remember it ever being this low. Right? And yesterday, right? He announced like a mini budget. They're calling it, right? And all I've seen is just extra spending. Like, and it sounds on the front of it, it sounds good because it's giving people, well, it's giving people something back. I wouldn't say a great deal, but it's giving people something back, right? They're cutting the income tax, they're cutting it, or they're rolling back the insurance, uh, national insurance tax, right, and all this kind of business. So it makes it sound, oh yeah, the people are gonna have more money in their pocket, so they can survive this, this year and the next year because of the energy crisis and all this kind of BS, right? So it sounds like, oh yeah, they're helping, but all they're doing is spending more and more money that they don't really have, considering they just spent all this money on the on the funeral, right? All this all this extra money that's being spent, they're just spending this money, and it's like, it's what would you call it? Careless, because that has also a great impact on your currency, right? That's going to devalue your currency even more, right? And that means the interest rates also have to go up because of the value of the inflation and the stuff. It it's a it's starting to spiral out of control, which is supposed to, right? Because it's going to lead to this crash. All right. So that's the pros and cons to these budgets that they do, man. People don't. Well, the majority of people don't understand. Obviously, there's obviously the people that don't know economics and whatever, but majority of these people in Britain don't know shit. They don't know what this means. They don't know what it's gonna lead to. Right? It's gonna lead to tribulation. That's where it's leading, right? But anyway, it says we will not hide it from my Lord that our money is spent. My Lord also have our herds of cattle, right? So they already sold their herds of cattle. There is all left in the sight of my Lord, but our bodies and our lands, okay, themselves and their lands, right? And then that's something that, well, these people, that got mortgages and houses and that, these people are going to forfeit on a lot of these fucking mortgages, man, because the interest rates are kicking their asses right now. Those that are not on fixed rates and on variable rates and stuff like that, man. A lot of people are going to, I think brother did the numbers or, looked it up or whatever. I think it's like 2.2 million people. And, even though it's like a small drop of people in the scale of everything, man, that's still 2.2 million people that are now fucked. That are going to be in these fucking queues for food banks and shit, you know. So it's bad. It's bad. So however you want to cut it, it's fucking terrible, for them, whatever. But yeah. So they're gonna strip their houses from them, and that will progressively happen to more and more people as time goes on, So it won't be just with the 2.2 million. It'll end up being more and more, right? Anyway, this is verse 19, wherefore shall we die before thy eyes, right? Because this is what the people are going to complain and say is like we're basically screwed, and what you're just going to let us starve and die of cold and all this business, because they already complained about the energy prices. You have to do something, we can't possibly afford it. You have to do something. And now in England we've had it capped to a certain amount now, so they ain't got to worry about the prices increasing even more, even though it's more than where it was, and it's still probably unbearable for a lot of people still. It's not going to increase anymore for a certain amount of time, or however long that was. So they made the government act because they were complaining they can't deal with it. You got to do something about it. Same thing here. Like, you can't just let us starve to death. Like, come on. Like, why would you let us starve? You got bread. You got bread. Why? You just gonna watch us starve? You can watch your people starve or whatever. So, naturally, the government, coming back to today, are gonna come with a solution, right? The order to the chaos, as they like to do, right? Order of chaos. They're gonna come with a solution, and that solution is MOTB. That is the rationing of all things, right? You now have to sell yourselves. You're now personal property of the elites now and the governments and whatever. You will do as you're told, right? You will take what you're given and rare tear tear, you know. Wherefore shall we die before thine eyes, before we and our land? Buy us and our land for bread. So people are going to be willing to trade themselves in for a little bit of bread, a little bit of food, right? So, and we and our land will be servants. This is what you're making yourself to be. You're making yourself to be servants, man. Because once that MOTB goes in you, man, that is it. You're locked in. Okay, you're hooked up to the grid. You're part of the matrix now, the Internet of Things, and he's just gonna have control over you now, and he's gonna control every aspect of it, of you and your life, whatever he wants to do with you, right? That's what it's gonna be. That's what you're gonna be trading it for, trading bread for. That slavery on another on another level. All right. So let buy us and our land for bread, and we will and our land will be servants unto Pharaoh, the elites in this case, right? Because the government's not really in power, and give us seed that we may live and not die, that the land be not desolate. So then, and Joseph bought all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh, but the Egyptians sold every man his field because the famine prevailed over them. Right, this whole tribulation, this whole situation is gonna prevail over the majority of the people on the earth. Right, it's gonna be too much for them to deal with. All right. So the land became Pharaoh. So everything became Pharaoh's, and like I say, everything right now, this NWO is all about everything becoming the elites. That's why you will own nothing, and well, they say you'll be happy, but only if you're drugged up, man. You might feel that way, but everything is going to become owned by the elites, man. And the scriptures say that they're oh man, why is it going out of my head? Let me just search for it. Death. Habakkuk 2 and 5, right? It says, yea, because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, right? He's not happy with what he's got, and he's got almost damn near everything anyway. Right? He got more wealth and more of everything than he could ever need. But it's not enough. He don't want you to have nothing. He don't want the people to have nothing. He literally wants to, well, no, he don't even want to give you crumbs. Because he'd rather you be eliminated off the earth. Okay, pursuing to the Georgia Guidestone, he'd rather have you eliminated, right? But he don't even want to give you crumbs. He don't even give you bread. He don't even want to feed you no more, man. Right? But he want to take everything that everybody's got. Right? Such as his greed, his greed, So he enlargeth his desire as hell and is as death, and cannot be satisfied. But gathereth unto him all nations and heateth unto him all people. Right? This is why it's a global thing that's taking place. He's grouping everybody together. He's gonna enslave everybody together, man. With this one one move right now. He checkmate everybody, bang. He gonna get everybody to take this mark, and now he gonna have control over everything and have ownership over everything and everybody, just like that. You know. So back here, Genesis 47 verse 21 says, and as for the people, he removed them to cities from one end to the borders of Egypt, even to the other end thereof. So he just relocated them. They're gonna do the same here. Put you put you in concentration camp, some of you, right? So only the land of the priests bought he not, for the priests had a portion assigned to them of Pharaoh, and they did eat their portion which Pharaoh gave them, wherefore they sold not their lands. Then Joseph said unto the people, behold, I have bought you this day and your land for Pharaoh. Lo, here is seed for you, and ye shall sow the land. You will work for me. No, you work for Pharaoh. Right? And even though we indirect, we work for the elites anyway. All these corporations or whatever, right? It's gonna be much more focused and much more focused, man. Specific uses for specific people, right? Because he ain't gonna want everybody, man. We know this. Like a lot of people are gonna get killed. So then it shall come to pass in the increase that ye shall give the fifth part unto Pharaoh, and 4 parts shall be your own. But this time you ain't gonna have nothing of your own, right? for seed of the field, and for your food, and for them of your household, and for food for your little ones. And they said, thou hast saved our lives, man. So on the face of things, people are going to be appreciative that they've been given this opportunity to go, they take this mark and they can go get food. They're going to be appreciative that the government have provided some type of way for them to eat. Okay, not knowing that having taken that mark is ultimately going to get destroyed, because the Lord has a specific judgment for those that take that mark. All right. So they said, thou hast saved our lives. Let us find grace in the sight of my Lord, and we will be Pharaoh's servants. All right. So that's what you're going to put yourself under. In Exodus 21, verse 6, and here's an example of this, right? Okay, that's off from the top. Exodus 21, verse 1 says, now these are the judgments which thou shalt set before them. If they buy an Hebrew servant 6 years, he shall serve, and in the 7th year shall go out free for nothing. Right, that's how things are supposed to work amongst that people. If he came in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him, right? So if they were married, if he had a wife before, when he came into servitude, then he went out with his wife, blah, 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 blah. And if his master had given him a wife, he got a wife while he was a slave, or while he was a servant, or whatever, and shall have borne him sons and daughters, the wife and her children shall be her masters, right? They're still property of the master. He gave the wife, and he got children, so they belong to him. The wife and the children shall be her masters, and he shall go out by himself, right? So that's if he wanted to do that. He didn't want to serve no more. He could go out, but he had to leave that behind, right? And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free, right? So he actually wanted to stay because of all of those things. And, life was all right, Then his master shall bring him unto the judges, and he shall also bring him to the door, unto the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear through with an awl, and he shall serve him forever, right? So this awl here is a symbol of the man's permanent servitude to this master. Same way in this current age, this digital awl, if you like, is going to be this MOTB, and this is what you're essentially going to be declaring, that you're prepared to serve your master indefinitely, forever, to your death, right? Because being underneath him in the system, right, is giving you X, Y, and Z. You've got your children in it, blah 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 blah, and you don't want to be parted from your wife and your children, because you want to see them survive and prosper, and that. So you think this kingdom is going to continue, and so I'm just going to give myself over. I'm going to put myself under this man. You're going to put yourself under Esau in this last days, like forever, permanently, with however he wants to deal with you. You're prepared to put yourself under him because you love this world, essentially, and the things that are in it. When we're told not to love the world and the things that are in it, See, the mindsets are different on our side of things, okay? Those that serve the Lord, it's a different type of mindset, right, in this current time, right? But the majority of these people, man, they're going to be now, we better just do it. Better just get that mark. But like I said, not knowing or not understanding that doing it or doing that, taking the MOTB is gonna ultimately is what is gonna destroy you, right? This is Revelations 14:10. It's like so verse 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, okay, the system, of the system, right? You want it to continue, you want Esau to be your ruler, you want him to continue ruling over you and blah 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 blah, right? This is and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. Okay, that's the MOTB, the implantable, right? The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Right? That's the judgment. Right? So this is why everyone should be circumspect and wary of the events that are about to unfold. Right? Because we're warning the people, man, but a lot of people don't want to take the heed, right? All these camps are playing stupid, okay, with these prophecies, man. And they're going to get a lot of people destroyed if they don't buck up, You know what I mean? The Lord ain't, don't open their eyes, man. All right, because it's an unrepentable sin to do. To take this mark is you can't. There's no redeeming from this, right? It's a done deal if you do this. This is verse 11. And the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. All right. It says, for the arms of the wicked shall be broken. Sorry, this is Psalms 37, verse 17. It says, for the arms of the wicked shall be broken, but the Lord upholdeth the righteous. Right? So in this time of great need and trouble and the evil, right, the Lord is going to take care of his elect. Right? This is what we believe, right? So we're going to put trust and faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Okay, not to do these things that the world is going to do. To give themselves over to Esau, man, to serve Esau. Okay, we're not here to serve Esau. Okay, we're here to serve Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So that's where our allegiances are going to stay, Lord willing. Lord be dealing with us, right? And we're going to endure whatever we need to endure in order to be saved. All right. It says, verse 19, they shall not be ashamed in the evil time. Okay, the men of the Lord are not going to be ashamed in the evil time, right? Because they're not going to make that mistake that the people are going to make. Okay, by accepting the devil, right? By trusting in his salvation, right? His protection. All right. So, and in the days of famine, they shall be satisfied. Okay, the Lord going to provide for the elect. Okay, they're going to provide them with food and water and whatever it is that they need. The Lord will provide. Okay, we're not going to have to turn to Esau. We ain't have to be sitting in 20-hour queues, and all that kind of business, right? Or take the implant. We ain't have to do that. None of that. Okay. So, but the wicked shall perish, and the enemies of the Lord shall be as the fat of lambs. They shall consume into the smoke. They shall consume away. Right. Again, ultimately they're going to end up being judged. Those that take that MOTB, okay, you're going to get burnt with fire. All right. In 2 Ezra chapter 15 verse 4 says, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness, right? Because you trust in the wicked. You trusted in Esau. Okay, you believed in Esau and didn't believe upon Yahweh Shem Yahweh. You didn't have no faith. Right? Because these prophecies are here. Everything that is happening has been recorded. So it's already been written about in the scriptures, man. But people don't want to believe in this book still. People don't have confidence in this book for some reason. Even though what is happening in the world is what's been written. But it's too spooky for a lot of people, right? And they can only trust in the physical. They can only trust in the carnal, right? So when they see problems and they see, Esau giving handouts or whatever, that's what they see, and they don't see nothing else. They don't see anyone's giving handouts. They don't believe in the Spirit, and the Lord, rewarding for perseverance and enduring. They don't see that, so they're gonna run to the flesh. They're gonna run to the bread and whatever, which is gonna be in the hands of Esau, which he's gonna be using it like a weapon against people. So, and he's gonna put you, he's gonna put you in the army of the dead, But yeah, you're gonna take that mark and you're gonna be destroyed. All right. It says, for all the unfaithful should die in their unfaithfulness. Right? It says, behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. All right, so that's what's gonna happen, man, to the unfaithful. And I'll close up with this is Psalms 40:4. It says, blessed is that man that maketh the Lord his trust. Right? We're told to trust in the Lord in these last days. Okay, because it's the Lord ultimately that's bringing it upon this world, right? And those that trust in the Lord, man, the Lord is going to protect. So we ain't going to worry about it. Yes, we will be tested. Yes, it will be difficult. Okay, but we're not going to be in the same type of situation as these other people, man. They've got no faith. They're going to be relying upon the devil, man. And as the nature is, man, the devil's going to, kick them in the ass, man. He's going to sting them in the ass. Right? He's going to bite them in the ass, man, because you don't trust the devil. He's a deceiver, So, but these people, they feel like I said, they rule by the flesh, And they only trust in carnal things, man. It says, blessed is that man that maketh the Lord his trust, and respecteth not the proud, nor such as turn aside to lies. Yeah, because all that belief that, this MOTB is gonna save everybody and provide everybody with security and whatever. Yeah, it's gonna be a bunch of horse shit. You know, he's leading you to certain death, right? And that kind of sounds like that predicament. Back with the serpent and Eve in the garden, man. You know, when the serpent told her, uh, you will not die. Eating of this fruit. Taking this shit. Oh no, everything's fine. It's not the mark of the beast. Da, 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 da. Everything's fine. That's poppycock. Don't believe in that book. Nothing's gonna happen. All that's gonna happen. You're gonna be sustained. Like how the serpent promised. Oh, I mean, which was true. Her eyes would be open and knowledge and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but he lied about the fact that she wouldn't die, or they wouldn't die, because death was now brought into the world, man, and they surely died. Okay, man was made to be immortal, right? Adam and that, they were meant to be immortal beings, and now no, they died. Death was brought into them, man. Sin, they transgressed. Okay, so and that's how things are not going to be like that in the kingdom. We're going to be immortal because we're going to be sin free, right? But like I said, it's that same predicament with this MOTB. People are going to be umming and ahhing about it, but ultimately, they're going to pick the chip because they don't really believe they believe the serpent that everything was going to be all right if they did it, which in the scriptures, if you believed in the scriptures, you wouldn't be fine. All right. But I'm gonna end it there. Lord, witness is edifying. I'll catch you brothers and sisters on the next one. And until then, I say shalom.